All right, welcome back to Sportsline, everybody. John Burton here in our studios, and also joining us via Zoom from his palatial estate, the great Jonathan Hutton from Titans Radio and 104.5 The Zone. Jay Hutt, thanks for sticking with me. We're going to go rapid fire here. Let's go with Patty Mahomes, potentially a $500 million contract over the next 10 years. Listen, I'm one of those people that says you are worth every penny someone is willing to pay you, and you are worth whatever leverage you have to get what you get paid. And I think Mahomes fits the bill here. He's the face of the NFL. He's only getting started. If he stays healthy, I expect him to win a couple more league MVPs and win a couple more Super Bowls. I think the Chiefs were right to make this long-term, big money investment in Patty Mahomes. What say you?
It's a great business decision by the Kansas City Chiefs. As crazy as it sounds to have that as a first reaction to a 10-year extension worth $500 million. The guy, he's the Super Bowl MVP. The Chiefs just won the Super Bowl for the first time in, 50 years. And he's 24 years old. So if he plays out this contract, it's 2 years plus 10. He'll be 36. And he'll be cashing in again with the health of the position. Now, it's also interesting that he gets the extension the same year, and he's deserving of it. But it's not hard to point to the injury concern with Patrick Mahomes because he had that kneecap issue, and then his first game back was at Nissan Stadium during the regular season. So the injuries are going to happen with him too, but he is so valuable. They have the best player in the league playing the marquee position. He's the face of the NFL, and he's now under contract for an additional 10 years. There are two teams, JB, that are doing new business this offseason. It's the Kansas City Chiefs coming off the Super Bowl win and with this more buzz now in the 1st of July, and the Tampa Bay Bucks signing Tom Brady and Gronkowski. Everyone else, they are scrambling, trying to keep their current business. Those two franchises are bringing in new money.
Yeah, no question about it. And, who knows? I mean, Andy Reid maybe coaches a few more years, and maybe Eric Bieniemy steps in as head coach if he doesn't get a head coaching job somewhere else first, and it doesn't look like he's going to. So I think the Chiefs are set up for long-term success. All right, you and I are faithful servants of Cam Newton. We worship at his feet. We are. We will be faithful to him forever. You know me. I love Cam. And I love the fact that Belichick just kind of laid in the weeds. Everybody said, this is it. They're going 4-12 this year. Come on. Jarrett Stidham, Brian Hoyer, all he does is get the 2015 NFL MVP, who, by the way, is hella motivated after he felt the Carolina Panthers kind of, sent him to the wayside.
Well, so there was a point during all of this play in Carolina where, I'll admit I was over the top with my love and admiration for the guy. I was overrated.
You still are. You still are, Jonathan, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm still on board. Yeah, I'm on board. But he was extremely undervalued on free agency. Everyone's knocking him in his play. He's a former MVP. Now, we can knock him for the health concerns with the shoulder and the other issues that he's had going on. I'm on board with those critiques, but it's hard to say he's not as valuable as some of the other free agent quarterbacks that are on the market, and the list is not that deep right now. So it's a brilliant move by New England. They get a bargain. They are a bargain basement shopping organization, but in a good way. They pinpoint exactly the player that they want, and then they'll work a frame around the picture that is Cam Newton. It's not going to be the same offense. Everyone's wondering how he's going to fit in with Josh McDaniels and Bill Belichick. Right. Trust me, they have a plan for him, and it's going to be based on the traits and what he does best. And that includes a lot of RPO and college-style games. And he's going to be doing that out of the backfield with Sony Michel, Edelman, and every now and then I'm sure they'll let him push the ball downfield.
Yeah, no question about it. Now, you mentioned earlier in our first segment that the NFL is discussing whether or not to allow players to opt out of the season, much like we've seen, NBA players do, some MLB players do. If those leagues are doing it, the NFL has to be able to give their players that option, even if they strongly urge them against it. I mean, if a player comes out and says, hey, I'm concerned for my family, like you said earlier, I'm concerned for my health, I'm concerned for my family. I don't know if I want to be out there playing with this COVID-19 going around. You have to give them that option, even if it means a marquee player like a Tom Brady or a Pat Mahomes sitting out. I don't think either one of those guys would do that, but just as an example.
No. Yeah, Brady continues to practice, you
Right.
know, even though the NFL
When
PA
he's not
is
supposed
telling him not to. Right. It's not the NFL, it's the PA that's strongly discouraging that, and they're still going out and practicing. So Brady's playing. But there will be others that say, you know what, it's just not worth it for me or my family based on pre-existing conditions. And the way it's worded is you can opt out. The thought is it's not written in stone yet. I want to make our viewers aware of this. You can opt out if your family member has a pre-existing condition, you don't want to expose them to anything, if you have a pre-existing condition, or if you're just not comfortable playing during a pandemic. And that third option covers the entire league of players. Here's the caveat, though, and what the players want. The players want the opt-out season to count towards an accrued season. So if I'm a player and I want to opt out, I want 2020 to count towards a year in my free agency contract. They want to come up in free agency the same year that they're scheduled to, and not just have that year paused and then you pick up where you were in your contract next year. So that's a big emphasis for the players, because it's a short-lived time frame for players to cash in, and as they get older, they get replaced. Also, if they opt out, they will be replaced, and that player may do just as good of a job or better. And because of that, they want to get closer to free agency and hit the open market. That will be something to watch as they negotiate this, because the players, I think, will take that option more. They're more likely to take that option. And I think if it doesn't count toward an accrued season, they're probably going to roll the dice, even if they're not necessarily comfortable with it, because they want to get paid.
Yeah, it's tough. I can see both sides of it. You know, I can see the owners saying, well, if you're not playing, why should I start your free agency clock? So a lot to, twist and turn between that and there. Jay Hutton, I got to be honest with you. I've grown a lot less optimistic. I think you know me. I'm a glass half full guy. You know, I said back in April when the draft was going on, I'm like, this thing will be good to go. We will have football this year. But you look at the college and pro level, you look at what's happening with these bubble situations going on, you know, the MLS and MLB and NBA and, you know, guys getting sick left and right. I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith that we're going to have football this year, Jay Hutt. You see what the Ivy League is doing? They're pushing football back to the spring. Let's be honest, all due respect, they're great people, they're very smart people, but nobody cares about Ivy League football, especially not here in the Southeast. But where are you at with what's happened, the spike in COVID-19, the serious threat now that we may not have football this fall?
We all laughed at the Ivy League whenever they canceled their tournament in March, and then all of a sudden we saw all the rest of the tournaments cancel. So they were the first to do it, and then everyone followed suit. I don't know if it happens as quickly here with the determination they're going to play in the spring. As far as the NFL is concerned, I think the NFL will do everything in its power to play this season. I think we're getting closer and closer to not having fans in stadiums. As much as they want to push the emphasis on reduced number of fans in stadiums, I think think about all the planning and the cleaning and everything else that has to go into having fans in stadiums this season. It may be a lot easier to just say, you know what, no fans this year. But there's a lot of income that comes with this, and same thing for the SEC. So I think they're doing everything they can right now. I'm with you. I still think we're going to see some setbacks. I think we're looking at a potential situation where the season is pushed back some. I don't know if that's necessarily from the NFL perspective, but I think we're looking at that from a college football perspective. The NFL, though, will have the latest testing. They're going with the saliva tests and everything else that's involved with this. And I'm in no shape to say what the latest technology is in research, but the NFL will have their hands on it. And with what they're trying to do with training camp, and another negotiating issue right now is whether or not we'll have any preseason games. I think that could be the first to go, as they just wipe out all of the games completely and say the focus here is in getting to week one. Right. The NFL, they've had time on their side this entire offseason, and now they are up against the clock.
Yep.
The clock is ticking on making a decision, but they don't have to make one today or tomorrow. They can continue to try to plan as much as possible. But here's the thing, John. If they play, there will be a scenario where we'll use the Titans as the example, the easiest example. If Tannehill tests positive, he's out for 14 days in the self-isolation. But during that, you're not supposed to do any exercise.
Right.
So then you come back and you have to, acclimate a bit, maybe not at quarterback because you want your star in there, but maybe another position. It's going to throw teams into a tailspin throughout the year. And that's what's interesting here is how do you manage your roster in a season where it could pop up at any point. It could be on a Monday, it could be on a Saturday night before the game. And how do you keep everything in working order? I don't know if you can. And I just think we use the term new normal. Coaches are going to have to plan and adjust literally on the fly, hour by hour with all of this. It's not going away.
Yeah, bottom line, folks, if you want football this fall, wear your masks, wash your hands. Jay Hutt, get your plugs in, my man. It's been great having you on.
Hey, my plug, Midday 180, but before Midday 180, John Burton and Greg Pogue.
I like it. All right. See? Yeah.
We can do that, right?
Everybody wins, right? My show's on from 9 to 11.
We might as well cross-promote here.
That's right.
Yeah, we cross-promote.
You can catch the Greg Pogue and John Burton show on WNSR Radio from 9 to 11, and then immediately following, switch over to 104.5 The Zone, catch my man Jonathan Hutton with my other guy, Chad Withrow, and El Jefe Paul Kaharski for the Midday 180. See? There you go. Everybody wins.
Easy enough. You can find us on the radio.
Hutton, you're the best, man. Thank you so much for doing this. Have a great night and stay safe, my brother.
I will talk to you on Sunday night, I bet.
Yes, looking forward to that as always. All right, there he goes, Jonathan Hutton, our News Channel 5 football NFL analyst, and of course Titans Radio on 104.5 The Zone. Great to have Jay Hutt on. All right, time for another break. We come back. We're going to catch up with what the Predators are doing as they get ready to resume the season, as does the NHL. A friend of show, Robbie Stanley from NHL.com, will join us next. Stay with us.